Welcome back for one last time in 2024. Throughout the year, we've been challenging our mental models and our unconscious biases in order to look at the world and organisations in a different way. Thank you for watching our presentations, including our weekly questions, interviews with global thought leaders, and our BookCast Unlocking Change. To review all of this content, we're using Google's Notebook LM to create an AI-generated podcast, which we think's done a pretty good job in encapsulating all the ideas. We've added a set of slides to aid with the listening and to provide references and sources. Please enjoy our 2024 wrap-up.
All right, so you want to know how organizations can dish those old school functional structures, right? And become more, customer-centric, outcome-oriented, all that jazz.
Right, and you've given us some really cool stuff to work with for this deep dive.
Yeah.
Excerpts from a book about for-purpose organizations, a paper all about integral business architecture, and a bunch of YouTube videos.
It's a great mix. It's like getting a backstage pass to see how these concepts actually play out.
Yeah, exactly. You get to hear from actual CEOs and experts who are grappling with these very challenges.
Totally. So I guess for this deep dive, what are we really trying to figure out? I think it's about uncovering why this whole efficiency thing can be a trap.
Okay. Yeah.
And then, we've got to explore those cross-functional teams everyone's talking about.
Right.
And see if this mission-based recursive organization thing is the magic bullet everyone says it is.
I think it boils down to a pretty fundamental shift.
Yeah.
Like how organizations think and operate. Instead of being all about internal processes,
right,
we're talking about putting the customer first and really focusing on the results they want to see.
It makes you wonder why this is such a difficult concept for organizations to grasp.
Oh, no, right.
The book actually uses a great analogy with reducing fuel in a car.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
So you're not actually making the engine more efficient.
Right.
You're just kind of limiting what it can do.
It's reducing the potential output.
Exactly.
Yep.
It's not about just minimizing the input. It's about maximizing the output.
Totally.
It's a trap I see all the time. So if silos are the problem, are cross-functional teams the solution?
Well, that's what a lot of organizations are hoping, but they often mess it up in the execution.
This video on organizational structure really hammered this point home.
Oh, yeah.
The big mistake is creating these cross-functional teams where everyone still reports to their functional managers.
Ah, I see.
They're still stuck with those top-down KPIs and budgets.
So you're trying to force collaboration without changing the power structure.
Exactly. It's like a recipe for conflict.
So the right structure can really unlock potential.
Right. It's about setting the stage for collaboration.
Yeah.
Not just expecting it to magically happen.
Totally. So cross-functional teams are part of the answer, but what's the missing ingredient?
Yeah, what about this mission-based recursive organization thing?
That's where things get really interesting.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
The book argues that this model could solve a lot of the problems we've been talking about.
Right.
It's about creating a system where every layer of the organization, from the CEO all the way down to individual contributors, is aligned to a nested mission.
So walk me through this. I'm not sure I'm following.
Think of it like a fractal,
Okay.
Each part mirrors the whole, but at a different scale. They use the example of Disney theme parks in the book.
Yeah.
Each part, each ride, each attraction is like its own little unit with a clear mission, but they all contribute to that bigger goal of creating a magical experience.
So it's not just about breaking down silos.
Yes.
It's about building something entirely new.
Exactly. Each unit has its own goals and measures of success.
Okay.
But those are always in service to that overarching mission.
And this management model, it emphasizes collaboration and focuses on that customer experience.
It's a totally different way of thinking about organizational structure.
So instead of a top-down hierarchy, it's more like a network of interconnected units.
That's a great way to put it, and the results can be really powerful. There are real-world examples of organizations like the U.S. Air Force using similar principles, and they've seen amazing improvements in efficiency and effectiveness.
This is making a lot of sense, but how do you actually implement something like this? Seems pretty radical.
It is a shift, but it's not as out there as it might sound.
Okay.
More and more organizations are starting to experiment with these ideas.
So this isn't just some pie-in-the-sky theory.
No, not at all.
It's happening now.
Absolutely. The book even talks about Suzanne Legena,
Okay.
the CEO of Plan International Australia.
Uh-huh.
She's actually working to implement this model in her organization.
That's really interesting.
It's a fascinating case study.
This is really making me rethink how I view organizational structure. You know,
Yeah.
we've gone from the problems of silos and this illusion of efficiency to this intriguing idea of mission-based recursive organization.
It's a journey.
It is. So what are the key takeaways here?
I think the biggest one is this.
Yeah.
If you want to become truly customer-centric and outcome-oriented, you have to move beyond those traditional functional structures
Okay.
and embrace a more holistic approach.
So no more working in isolation, no more chasing meaningless metrics. It's about aligning everyone around a shared goal and giving them the power to work together to achieve something truly impactful.
And that's where things get really exciting, because when you unlock that level of synergy, the possibilities are endless.
I like the sound of that.
Me too.
It's interesting how all these pieces fit together, right?
Yeah.
The book gives us the theory. The videos show us real-world examples.
And the paper gives us a framework for actually putting it into practice.
It's like a roadmap.
Yeah.
You know, for building a more effective, more agile, and ultimately more successful organization.
Okay, so we've talked about silos and this obsession with efficiency and this idea of mission-based recursive organization. But I still have this one nagging question.
Okay, I'm listening.
Isn't there a risk that this kind of decentralized structure could lead to chaos?
I see what you're
So,
saying.
like, if everyone's making their own decisions,
Yeah.
how do you make sure everyone's on the same page?
That's a great question, and it gets to the heart of why this model is so challenging.
But also so powerful, it requires a very different kind of leadership.
How so?
Well, instead of, giving orders and controlling every detail, leaders need to become facilitators, you know? Enablers, they need to set the overall mission, define the outcomes, but then they need to trust their teams to figure out the best way to get there.
So it's about setting the direction, not micromanaging every step.
Exactly. It's about empowering people to think for themselves, to be innovative, to take ownership of their work.
Right. And I guess transparency and accountability are super important too.
Absolutely. Everyone needs to be aligned around the same growth.
I'm starting to see how this model could actually lead to more alignment,
Right.
not less. Because when people understand the big picture and they feel empowered, they're more likely to pull in the same direction.
You're absolutely right. It's a total shift in mindset. Instead of seeing control as the key to success, you embrace trust and collaboration. The great thing about these principles is that they're scalable. You can apply them to a team of 5 or a company with thousands of employees.
So it's about adapting the framework to your specific situation.
Exactly.
So even if you're not ready to completely restructure everything, you can still start experimenting with these ideas on a smaller scale.
Totally. You could start with a pilot project or create a cross-functional team. We're talking about a whole new paradigm for organizational effectiveness.
Right.
One that's more human-centered, more adaptable, and ultimately more sustainable in the long run. So for everyone listening, the question is, what are you going to do?
Are you going to stick with the status quo?
Or are you going to be part of building something better? The choice is yours.
As always, thanks for watching, and please provide your thoughts, comments, ideas, questions in the comment section below. Happy holidays, and we hope to see you next year. Thank you.